To niche or not to niche? That is the question. I go through so many people's profiles and videos on TikTok and I see what they're advertising and what they're trying to share with you as far as side hustles go. And one of the biggest things I see people ask is, do I niche down? How do I niche down? What is a niche? A niche is a specific area that you want to target or an area of interest. So what I mean by that is if you were to go into the health industry, an area of interest might be veganism or vegetarianism, or it could be something like keto and the keto diets. But if you don't want to niche down, is that okay? The question people always ask is, can I niche down? Do I have to niche down? And how do I do that? So one thing I'm going to actually say is, if you haven't before, and you will hear me say this 100 times and get sick of it, click the link in my bio and please take the 15-day challenge from Legendary Marketer. If you don't want to do it, that's fine, but you are doing yourself a disservice because it will teach you a ton about niching down and what a niche is and how to do that. It's $7 and it's a 15-day challenge, which you can probably finish in 7 days if you want to. It's going to teach you about this. So do you need to niche down though? In my opinion, it depends on what you're going to do. Are you going to start a TikTok channel and try to just raise a bunch of followers and views, and you're going to have something maybe in your TikTok shop, but what you want to do is get paid for your views because you live in the US? If that's the case, you don't need to niche down to anything. You can just be you. If you have a certain kind of humor, if you do a certain kind of video, if you do something that's of certain interest to people, you'll gather a following, I'm sure, on TikTok, no matter what you're doing. As long as you can build an audience, in that way you can make money. But again, you have to be in certain countries to be able to take advantage of that. You don't get paid per views on TikTok if you're in countries like I am, like Canada. Is there a way around that? Sure. You can still grow an audience on TikTok, but then you can ask your audience to click over to YouTube for some different content, longer videos or more information, and you can transfer your audience over to YouTube where you will still be paid per views, not like on TikTok. There's just different criteria. Keep that in mind as well. You do have to have a certain amount of followers. You must have 10,000 followers and over, I think, 100,000 views or something within 30 days. You have to meet certain criteria to get paid regardless of whether you are on YouTube or on TikTok or anything like that. But transferring your audience is one option, and it can happen anywhere in the world. YouTube pays out a lot more places than TikTok does right now because TikTok is new. So you don't need to niche down if you're trying to do something very general and you're targeting a very general audience. If you have a very big account, you don't need to niche down either, because if you're sharing something that you find that's a product and you want to link it in your TikTok shop or an Amazon shop or something, then it can be something that you use for, say, I'm going to use myself as an example, for your kids, and then maybe another product that you find that you use for your pets, your dog or something like that. So I wouldn't niche down in that sense because I'm going to be sharing things with you that I enjoy for myself, for kids. If you're a parent, because I'm a parent, I'll share something that I enjoy for, taking care of my pets or something I'd like for my dog. And so I could share that with my audience and I don't have to niche down and be specific in that sense. If you're starting a very specific business, however, or an account that is very specific to something like we mentioned before, vegetarianism or keto diets, or maybe you're an expert about dogs, or you're an expert about fishing, or you're an expert in some area and you're going to have very specific content, then yes, niching down will help. So again, if you're fishing, are you going to target every fisherman out there? Or are you going to target deep sea fishermen and fisher people, I should say? Or are you going to be targeting the animal industry and you're going to be targeting just dogs? You're not going to target every animal out there. If you're a dog expert, you're not going to be trying to reach people who are cat owners or people who have birds. You're going to be targeting dogs. So you're going to be niching down in the pet industry to dogs. And then are you very specific? Are you someone that raises huskies? Do you train certain kinds of dogs? Are you someone who trains or raises smaller breeds? Do you deal with certain behaviors that are more common in certain breeds? You might target your audiences to that specific breed, and then you're getting very niched down. So again, you're going to be looking for somebody who has huskies, someone who's interested in huskies, someone else who raises huskies or trains them or whatever. And again, that's just an example. It could be any kind of breed of dog, or you might go the opposite direction and go into cats and things like that. So you have to niche down if you're going to be very specific, if you're trying to create specific content and share that, and that will benefit you because again, you can do the same thing then at that point. You can have print on demand shirts, you can have products that help with whatever it is you're sharing. You can sell books, cookbooks if you're doing that keto diet stuff. You can do all that stuff, but reaching a very specific target audience. And there's pluses and minuses to both. So niching down does help sometimes, and in other times it helps to leave things broad. If you get the right audience, if you get people that are very engaged, that really like your content, really trust you, they're going to click those links and they're probably going to buy those products more. If you get a very huge audience and it's really broad, but they're not that interested in some of the things, or they don't really care, you may have a harder time selling some of the stuff, you might not. It's very, very dependent on who you attract into your accounts and who interacts with you and just how much they interact with you and how much they like the account as to what they're going to be buying. So to niche or not to niche, that is the question. What is it that you're trying to do when you make money online? Do you need to niche down or not? Again, if you click the link in the bio and take the 15-day challenge, which you're going to get sick of hearing me say, but I'm going to keep saying it, it will teach you a lot more in depth about niching down or not and what you need to do and how to do it to reach the absolute best target audience that you will want to be reaching to be successful if you're doing absolutely anything to make money online.